Okay, can we take this out? Can we take this again? I'm going to delete this. Okay, 3, 2, 1. What the cast?
What the cast?
What the cast?
Hey, bro, what the cast, yeah? What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Yeah, I think we're rolling.
What's up? Well, what the cast? And we're very sorry for not uploading last week. We were a little busy. Boys had exams, and I was a little held up with work, with assignments and stuff. But yeah, we're back. We haven't given up yet. This is episode number 4. And some updates. Kanye West is running for president. For real, it's not a joke.
Yo. It is a joke.
Yeah. It's not. He's running for president for real. Bryden is illegally changing his name back to Brian. The way
Thank
it was.
God.
Subjectable, very, very subjectable topic.
And Kiran's hair still hasn't grown back. So yeah, those are your updates for this week. So today we're going to be talking about perspective. Let's begin with Bryden and Kiran giving their perspectives on perspective.
Sorted.
Okay. For me, it basically means like your point of view on a topic.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Bryden, what do you think about it?
Well, we've been waiting, or like we've been really eager to talk about this topic. I feel me and Maz, like, what do you call at the early stages or like pre-birth of what the cast. We've always like this is one of the topics or one of the like ideas that kind of inspired us to start the platform in the first place.
Yeah. It was one of the plans or the topics that we wanted to speak about. Like it was the initial draft of what we wanted to do. But yeah, the definition of perspective is a particular attitude towards or a way of regarding something or a way of seeing something, like your point of view, like how Kiran pointed that out. It's somebody's point of view, like how they view a certain thing or phenomenon or like a person. It's just solely based on you. It's your thing, and some of the factors that influence you or influence your perspective might be the place you've been brought up from, the things you eat, the things you see, the environment you've grown up in. Like everything is about experience, not exactly everything, but it's more influential the part where you've already experienced certain things. To put it into simple words, let's look at a cap. Okay, to somebody it's to protect their head from maybe the sun or the rain. Me, I wear it backwards. It's something like my style or like my thing. Maybe somebody would cover their head because they don't have hair or they're bald and they're embarrassed, uncomfortable, like how Akiran wears caps all the time.
Whenever I ever worn a cap,
Just kidding. But yeah, it's just one simple thing. It's a cap. Everybody knows what a cap is. Everybody has a cap, but there are different reasons why people wear it. So that's one simple example of what perspective is. Another example could be Brian and Kiran are huge bike lovers, and to them riding a bike is not just a mode of transportation. And Kiran, why don't you elaborate on that point?
Yeah, okay. So basically, for us, I mean, from our point of view, a bike isn't something that we just use to just go from one place to another. Like, of course, yeah, we do that for like college and stuff. We take our scooter and go, but we use it as a way of like escaping from reality or like and just opening ourselves up to the world, like sort of thing. Because and like another person would use that same thing for just like, oh yeah, I don't really care about this. I just use it to just go from one place to another, or I need to go to this place and get this job done. But for us, it isn't like that. It isn't just something that we use to get something done. We use that as a way of like letting our feelings out, if that makes sense.
That
Yeah,
makes total huge amount of sense, and like I can relate to it as well. Like everyone, so basically, like as Kiran said, like perspective is something like it's like it
It's
just
very
looks
subjective
it just no it
to
just
a
looks
person, right?
it kind of looks like it's really simple, but then once you put your foot in it, you know how deep it is and how dense it gets. The more and more you talk about it, you can just say that perspective can whole or single-handedly sculpt the entire universe as it is. The entire fabric of time can be sculpted just based off that one principle of perspective. And well, obviously I know a lot of all of you astrophysics physics fans and just nerds out there would like want to like get at me with it. And yeah, obviously I don't mean it literally, I just mean it since we're talking about it in that same sense. I'm just kind of trying to relate it here. And like, see, so basically as Kiran said, a bike for another person would just be a machine that kind of helps them in transportation, but for us it's like our escape. So that's our perspective of the same thing that someone else has a different perspective on. So think of it like this. From your end, you might be looking at this is basically like east and west. So when someone's standing on the west and they're looking at the sunset, someone standing on the east can see that same sun rising over there. It's a different time of day. It's a different completely different outlook on the same thing, and it's happening simultaneously in harmony with the universe. And that, in really complicated as well as simple terms, is, I feel, perspective.
exactly. That's a good way of putting that. Anybody who studied or come across this word perspective, I'm pretty sure you've heard things like perspectives can't be wrong, like it can't be right or wrong, it's just subjective and it's about how a person thinks. But there are some cases where perspectives can be very very wrong. Let's say I watched this video recently. It's a sensitive topic and I don't want to hurt anybody or trigger anybody, but I saw this video where this dude, he interviews uh, people, men in particular from Delhi, and the topic is rape culture. And he asks them, what do you think is the reason for rapes happening? And some of the answers would disturb you, and you know you'd be surprised there are people who still think this way to this day in 2020. One of those men replied, short clothing, you know free, they're just with boys, and they said really wrong things, something like they wanted it, they wore short clothes, that means they wanted it, that's why we did it. And he asked, does looking at a girl or looking at a woman with short clothes excite you? He's like, yeah, it does. Does that mean it gives you the right to act upon it? This man said yes, they wanted it. So that perspective is very very wrong, and these are some of the cases where it can be wrong. And some more details or some more information you come across when you watch that video a little more is where these guys openly talk about women suppression. They suppress the women at their homes, in their families, and they say women are supposed to be at home. That's very very wrong. You say women are weak, women are supposed to do this. You came out of a woman, your mother's a woman, your sister's a woman, your daughter's a woman. How does your wife's a woman? So if you say things like they're meant to be there, no they're not. It's a culture here in India which is very very wrong, and that perspective is wrong. That's where it's wrong. More about this is where the same men said rape cannot be without consent. It is always consensual. It's a consensual act apparently, because they wanted it. How uh, wrong can somebody be? Like, how messed up are you in the head to think like that? But it's just how they grew up. It's starts with your own homes where your own women from your own family are suppressed. Your mother suppressed, your sister suppressed. You think it's the right thing to do, which is wrong.
Exactly.
So at least I'm hoping the new generation drops that idea, and maybe at some point in time there should be a change. There should be you know those evil practices should be abolished. That shouldn't be a common thing that you see everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you think all these things don't happen because you live in cities, trust me, these are very, very prevalent till this date in 2020, in the internet era, digital India era. There are still women being suppressed. There is still caste system. There's still racism. There's still communal violence. Why? Because you have the wrong perspective on things. How did you start looking at people as tags? Why did you tag somebody like, oh, he's this, oh, he's that, oh, she's this, she's that color, she's from here? No, you're human first. Okay, you, I, him, her, them, everybody is human. They have the same emotions as you. The same things hurt them too. There might be difference in the way they look, where they're from, the way they behave, but we're human first. Okay, race, religion, age, caste, color, everything comes later. First you're human, then all those tags and blah blah blah. But
Exactly.
see, the things about this tags that I'm talking about, there are people who think they're superior than others, and there are people who feel they're inferior than others just because of those tags, which is very wrong. People still to this day think of those horrible things. They think rape is okay and they're supposed to be doing that. Women are not objects. Okay, they're human like you. You're saying fine, I'm not saying let's agree with it, let's put that aside. You're saying women are being provocative because they're wearing short clothes. What about little children who are raped? What about animals who are raped? What about that? I'm pretty sure you can't justify a point saying they were wearing short clothes. Are you serious? Kids, animals. How does that make sense? That brings me to the point where it's not about what you wear, or it's not about where you are or who you're with. It's about your perspective. It's about your mindset. It's about how you see things around you. And I'm hoping people who are listening to this are aware of these things, because these things are very, very common around us, and I hope this problem soon fades away. So let's not go deeper into that. And
Yeah, so that's what. So as Ma said, it all depends on how you are as a person. Like you can't say a lady or a woman is provoking you as a man to do stupid things that you're not supposed to do, or do insensitive things to her, because I don't know. I think I came across this really interesting tweet just the other day. People say that dressing in 2020 is the cause of rape, but then in the 60s and the 70s, women wore skirts and dresses that covered their neck to their toes, and it still happened then. And even in India, where traditional dressing is a huge part of our culture, it still happens. It doesn't mean that only because you're wearing short clothes, or only because you're wearing a tight outfit, you're a subject to rape. It can happen to literally anyone based on what kind of a person or what kind of people are surrounded. I mean, are surrounding you at that time. And you know what? As he said, we are the only ones who can change this, because I think just day before yesterday, so the rest of the family, right? The rest of the Watercast family, you all guys have seen it on our specials, like the previous episode and all of that. So yeah, we were just having this random rant time, and then just got into something personal, and that brought up the fact that all of this kind of stuff had been there in our society in particular long back, like long back, like when caste system was like openly prevalent. I'm not saying it isn't now. I'm just saying openly prevalent, and everything was happening. Women were still suppressed, and they were still subject to a lot of injustice, and that's that's because it's not to say that, like, I'm not trying to say men were perverts all their lives. I'm not saying that, okay? No offense to anyone, because I'm a man myself. We're all men here. I'm trying to say that just everyone's perspective over time, I think, since the generations have been passing on knowledge to people, it just hasn't changed. We've just been accepting the same facts that women are supposed to be inferior to men, and which is not true, which none of us here at What the Cast agree with. And we all think that women are equal to men. And equal, the
No,
word
no,
equal.
no. They're not equal. I'm not saying based on gender. I'm saying and I'm a man. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm saying it from my thing that women are way, way, way stronger than you think they are.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. Okay, a kick on your balls and it hurts like shit. You can't breathe for a while. Okay, you imagine that pain.
Exactly.
Okay, these women go through painful cycles every single month. Okay,
Exactly.
every single month, and the pain, the emotional imbalance, and suppression and whatnot, and the things these girls have to listen to and abide by. Trust me, you as a man, and so you think you're strong and this and that, you wouldn't be able to bear that
Yeah.
at all. Trust
Hmm.
me.
So yeah, in
See,
a broader sense, you can say that women are not equal to men. Yeah, fine. We'll agree with the
exactly, they're,
masses. They're
they're
not.
way stronger. They're way
Oof.
stronger physically. They're way stronger
Mentally,
mentally.
exactly.
Imagine you, okay, you have to carry a child for 9 months. 9 months, okay.
9 months,
All
whole
this while,
months.
that's not, your whole body changes, okay, biologically. Your hormones change. You're feeling these emotions. You have mood swings. You have cravings and whatnot. And then giving birth, okay, one of the most beautiful things, reason why you and I are alive, okay. That shit, that pain your mom went through, that is the reason why women are much, much more stronger than men. Okay, you might think they're supposed to be in the kitchen. They're not meant for sports and this and that. Trust me, you would be able to bear that pain. Because see, think about it. Okay, a kick on your balls, it hurts like shit. Okay, everybody's felt it. Okay, I know some people will go and will compare, saying kick to the balls hurts way more than giving birth. But that's just like one time. Unless you're a piece of shit, and you get kicked in the balls all the time, that happens rarely. But they have to go through painful cycles every single month. What about that?
Exactly.
And we just keep making jokes about PMS, mood swings, and all sorts of stuff. I'll bet you none of us would be able to bear that even for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and that's why that makes them stronger than we think they are. If you say women are the weaker and this and that, blah 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 blah, that mindset is really, really wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, so exactly. Then you know what? I should kind of rephrase that whole thing, and come to the fact that women are not equal to men. And yeah, we're gonna go with the masses saying they're not equal to men, but they're stronger than men, as Mas just mentioned. Because half the shit that they've gone through, none of us would even survive a day. Because like, hear me out, okay? When another guy is being cocky to you, your ego can't even stand that person for a second. So imagine someone, another human being, right, who just has different, who just has a different skin on. That's all. Basically, that's all. Literally it. Who's just literally going through that. Only it's not one cocky guy. It's a whole world of cocky guys that they have to face, and they still don't complain. They still don't find fault with it. They just go through life like it's a piece of cake, and that itself is a freaking achievement that none of us would be able
Exactly.
to do.
Think about it. Okay, you may think you're physically stronger,
Hmm.
but okay, let's agree you are physically stronger, like maybe whatever. But think about it, okay? a girl is born, okay, from there only the parents are like, damn, we should have had a son. Okay,
Exactly.
first thing, okay, they don't even want a girl child. Why? Because they had to marry her off. Okay, suppression starts there when a girl child is born.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even born, they kill, feticide, it happens. Okay, and then from there on, before you even hit maturity, before you even become a teenager, your marriage is set. I'm not
Exactly.
saying it happens happens everywhere, but in rural places, this is
Hmm.
what happens. Okay?
Yeah.
Before you even become a teenager, before you even become aware of your new bodily changes, you're
Exactly.
already your marriage is confirmed. Okay, and then sometimes you're married off to a very very old man, and you're just a child or you're just a teenager. They start, the family starts demanding children. They are a child.
Hmm.
Okay, they are children, and you're demanding children from them. And what's their demand? We want a guy child. If we
Exactly.
don't, we don't want a child. See,
Firstly, how
you're
is
not
that in your hands? How is that in anyone's hands?
exactly. It's in the guy's hand. It depends on the man. It's their what do you call, reproduction process, where it's according to their sperm, if it's gonna be a girl or if it's gonna be a guy.
Yeah, exactly. And they
It's
yet put
assigned.
pressure on women saying it's your
Exactly,
fault.
exactly. A little more to that. Just imagine, okay, you are given the utmost freedom. You are given the best of education. You get to marry the girl of your choice, or you get to live a life of your choice.
Yeah.
But think about a girl, okay. Apart from all the biological differences, she is not allowed to study properly. She is not allowed to dream. She is married off without, consent. It's most of the time it's by force. You can't, dream. You can't become what you wanted to be. You have to give birth. You have to take care of your family, and you're suppressed. You're still suppressed. You're under four walls. Your freedom is taken away. Why? Just because you're a different gender. The leave out gender, caste. Okay, it's one of the evil practices that have to go away as soon as possible, because just because you are born into a family, or you're born into a uh, they say a caste, a lower caste, upper caste, you're
All of
given
that
a
bullshit.
status.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. How? Why? Like, think about it. How does just one ho- wait, how does being born into a family, become a bad thing? How is, it's 2020, it's a modern era. How are you still, talking about caste, upper caste, lower caste? Come
Hmm.
on. You can say, hey, no, this city doesn't happen. Trust me, it still happens.
Hmm.
It happens everywhere. It happens
It's
around
just
us.
it's
You'll be
just the
surprised.
yeah. You'll be
You'll
surprised.
be
Yeah.
surprised how common it is.
Exactly.
And it's just to burst your bubble, and get you, think outside the box, think outside your environment. It's not about your immediate surroundings, it's about everywhere. It's really really bad, and you'd be shocked when you see these things happening.
Freaking daft.
Yeah, let's
So you know
now.
what? Like, we don't wanna pull it into some other episode. We're talking about perspective. I'll just say one thing before we kind of change this topic. I guess I don't know. That all of the stuff that's happened in India, that's happening in India, that's happening in our country, that's happening maybe in your country if you're listening from another country, and all of the injustice that's happened to George Floyd and all the other black people who've been suppressed for no reason over the years and even till this date in a so-called developed world is just all because of our perspectives and mindsets that haven't changed. That's just been concreted over the years by wrong cognition and wrong development. We've all grown in a wrong way.
Talking about what Bryden said about George Floyd and the thing that's happening in America, is basically like how these people have been subjected to their surroundings, or people that have put that perspective in their mind, that they are superior than any other race, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, see, if that person wasn't surrounded by people saying, yeah, like we're way superior because we're white and just because of our skin color, that changes a person's perspective on a particular topic, which shouldn't happen. You
Hmm.
should have your own mindset and own reason, but even then, your perspective, like people say, your perspective can't be wrong, but like how Ma said about the rape culture and everything, that sometimes your perspective on certain topics can be wrong, and sometimes you should just choose to have the right perspective.
There's no one else to blame. You cannot blame your neighbor, you cannot blame your parent for growing or for making you, or for making you a bad person. That's because everyone has choices in life.
Exactly. Yeah,
You can
yeah.
either choose to listen to your parents. And
Mm.
I don't mean to offend anyone's parents or any parents over here, but you can either choose to listen to their old, concrete. That's not their fault. It's just been passed on to them. Or you can kind of teach them what you've learned in your developed and your modern educational institutions and make a change in the world. It all depends on how you look at it. Like, look, I know or over the years that I've grown as a person, not as just a physical chunk on this universe. I'm just talking about as a person. The amount that I've learned, and I've looked back to my wrongdoings and my wrong thoughts, and thought to myself, thank God or thank the universe for correcting my path. If not, I would have turned out to be like a really horrible person. And
Yeah, exactly. Like even our perspective change as we grow, right?
And yeah, you know what? Just talking about this just brought up this really, like this book, right? So I read this really amazing book, some time back. It's called A Tour Around My Garden by Alphonse Carr, I guess. And what he said in one of the lines was, "We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice about the fact that thorns come with roses." And that, in a very beautiful sense, is how perspective can change your whole life. The way our lives were changed due to perspective is because of this. And just yesterday, I think, because we had some technical difficulties setting up yesterday's episode, after the episode, I was literally just, reading up because I thought my cognition on the topic wasn't nearly enough to kind of do justice to it. So I thought I'd just read up, and then this really beautiful, very deep, I feel almost like let's just call it a coffee thought, or a thought to think about while you're having your evening brew, or, whatever you're into. It's by this guy, this writer. His name is Douglas Adams, and he wrote this book called The Salmon of Doubt, Hitchhiking the Galaxy One Last Time, in which he says the fact, and listen really carefully, okay, because you can meditate on this for like maybe a week also till our next episode is out. So, the fact that we live at the bottom of a deep gravity well, on the surface of a gas covered planet, going around a nuclear fireball 90 million miles away, and to think that this is a normal way of life is obviously an indication of how skewed someone's perspective tends to be. And I don't have to say anything else apart from that. We can just move on to the next thing, because that itself explains the whole thing, the whole idea that we're trying to be pushing across to all of our viewers out there.
Well said. Let's not stray away from the topic. Let's get back to perspective. So, the reason why we're doing this is because there was a event in Brandon and Kiran's life, and they're going to be talking about it in a bit, where it changed the way they see things around them. So,
Yeah.
Brandon, Kiran, why don't you, tell your story? Tell us what happened and how it changed you as a person.
This thing really hit us, and this thing, oof, yo, you know what? The thing, the thing is, one thing's for sure, y'all would never be able to experience our perspective. Maybe you have a similar experience, but you'd never be able to experience our exact and on point perspective of things, and why we hype this up every time we talk to anybody about this. Like, people will be like, yo, this
Yeah,
isn't such a big topic, but trust me, you know how people say, yo, you don't need to go a million miles to find faith. You can literally turn around and it'll just be waiting for you. it's the same thing that happened to us. I thought, so basically Kiran and I were basically two roads away, and let's just drop all of this into some really symbolic language, okay? So we both were just one huge island that was dry and had nothing on it, just nothing. It was just dry. And suddenly this huge tsunami just hits us, and just, you know, she was destruction at first, but with her retrieval came so much of light, so much of life, so much of new things, so much of change and good change that directionalized all of our dryness into this beauty that we're still growing, that we're still trying to keep alive, and we're still trying to maintain, and just grow as people, grow in this universe, do our thing, do our part in making the universe maybe not a tad, just a small atom better than it was. That's all. And I feel Kiran's gonna do the rest, and all of the actual factual stuff, which I'll obviously be commenting on. So go ahead, my boy.
Okay. So what happened was, bro, what was the year, bro? 2015 or 14?
Was it that far?
2015.
Was it that far back?
Yeah. Okay. So, ninth grade, we were completely different people. Okay, Brian was a dick, and I was a fake nerdish type of guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was right. Okay, so we never even spoke to each other. Okay, like we even thought in different ways. He thought in a completely different
Yeah.
way. I thought in a completely
Well,
different
well,
way.
I
But
wouldn't
one thing
call.
was common.
No, I wouldn't call myself male genital. Yeah, I would call me a cocky person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, but one thing was common between us is we weren't who we were supposed to be.
we weren't. Yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So what happened after ninth grade was, because of some reasons, we failed
reasons.
ninth grade. Yeah, we failed ninth grade.
We were all our lives, like our lives were like we were flying too high. Basically, we were just trains. We were meant to be trains, but we were flying high. We were basically flying high, and it didn't make any sense that we were doing that.
Yeah,
And then, as usual, life hit us with its share of mending our path, and
events.
we detained. Yeah, we just detained ninth grade, and oh
Yeah.
my God, Kiran, go on, man. I
And
cannot.
then after that, we crashed to earth. There was no more flying, and we came back to school. Okay, like even when we were supposed to leave, Brian was supposed to go into a completely different school, which thank God he didn't.
Yo,
And I don't actually know what I was going to do. Okay, anyways, so we came back to school, and after that whole coming back, we started being ourselves, right?
yeah,
So after that, we stopped being people we weren't supposed to be and just being ourselves. And then we found out when we're just ourselves, we're happier. We actually do things we want and we love. We hang out with people we actually like and who want to be. I mean, who we want to be around, and those people want to be around us,
hopefully.
right, bro?
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, so I'll tell you the exact transition I went through. It went from finding happiness through being a fake person, through trying all sorts, trust me. Obviously not freaking expertise and all, but I've had my share of substances, let's say that. And yeah, and I thought, yo, this is going to be life, like this is life. And well, so basically really subjective, really perspective based sentence that's coming. But faith and detention in ninth grade literally changed all of that. Took me off that path and put me on the path that was meant for me. That was my thing. And same, I think the same thing goes with
Yeah.
Kiran, where he went from, just disguising himself as this really smart and serious person when he was actually, when it didn't make any sense that he was doing that because he was just being really boring. Once he failed, that again was his turning point where he realized that, you know what, I think it's time to do things our way because their way isn't working out, so we got to do our way. That's the only thing left, and that's what set us on track. That's what like literally
Yeah.
grounded us, and and well, the fact that we've become these people today that can speak for ourselves and can stand for what we say without going with the social flow or going with the wave of social media is basically primarily based on the fact that we failed. Because when we failed, our whole social strata or our whole social background that was backing us, and that driving force that was pushing us forward and holding us through all our emotional bullshit that was going on through our metaphysical changes in life, just moved on, and we were just left in this
Yeah.
abyss to start over, right? It's almost like a reset button, and we didn't know what to
Mm.
do. And then I found him, and he found me, and well, we just clicked. We became really good friends.
Aw, so cute.
And this and this little DJ came into our lives because of that whole fact that we failed
Yeah,
ninth. If not,
exactly.
he would have been saying "oh so cute" to someone else, and we would have been some horrible people thrown in some drains. No, no, no.
Yeah.
We would have been horrible people.
Okay, so basically, why we brought this up is our perspective on the term failure completely changed, or failing completely changed.
Yeah.
Because now we look back at it as something amazing, where we would have thought about it being something horrible and something that we wouldn't
Exactly,
want to happen
exactly.
to us.
Yeah. Like failure is my Oscar.
So
Mm.
I love the fact that that happened.
Yeah.
The reason why I wanted them to share this for today's episode is because a lot of people look back into their past lives or look back into their past and see bad things. They see a bad person, and they feel bad. They have disturbing thoughts. They overthink. They basically they feel really really bad when they look back. But if you can change that, and when you look back, if you, instead of feeling bad about it, you should feel proud that you've grown from that. You've tackled all the hardships, and you're a better person today. Maybe not everybody had a good past, maybe we've done things we shouldn't have, but I'm not saying look back, feel bad, or cry over it, but think about it. You've grown from that. You're stronger than you were before. You're happier. You're surrounded by people who love you, who care about you, things like that. And I know back then it would have seemed like a dream, or I wish I had that kind of life. But if you're living a decent life, if you're happy with who you are, who you're with, what you do, where you are, trust me, do not take that for granted. Not many people have that. A lot of people are still dreaming about it to this very day. To the people who are struggling, trust me, it gets better. Talking about the virus and stuff, cases are rapidly rising, and it's coming. People aren't thinking of it as an actual problem. People are just roaming around without masks and stuff. It's
Like
very bad.
reality hasn't hit
Like,
us, but it's high time that
exactly.
we realize. No.
Exactly. Even, yeah, I'm not saying even I was like, always concerned. Even I was a little laid back, saying, okay, maybe
Yeah.
not. But it hit me like a train today. My street is going to be sealed because there's an active case just 2 houses away. Even Kiran, one of his neighbor, has it, and his road is already sealed.
Already
Friend
seen, yeah.
hasn't seen the outside world in a long time.
I
But
have been extra quarantined, extra safe about it.
yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying, you don't realize how scary it is, or how important something is until you have to go through it. It's a larger than life reality.
Look, my fellow
uh
people, all I'd
we're
say
not
is
gonna.
one last thing, bro. Just give me 1 minute. So,
Yeah,
like
take it.
everywhere at this point, or you might be watching this video or this podcast in the future where it's over, hopefully, and we've all made it. Yeah, we will. So yeah, so basically, at this point, the situation isn't just serious in our country, our city, it's serious everywhere. And it's a pandemic. That means it's not the world's problem, it's your problem because you're part of this world. And if you're going out there and you're being irresponsible, then if something should happen to someone close to you, or something should happen to, or this situation gets even worse, then all I can say is that you have yourself to blame as well, because you have played a part in making it worse. So instead of being subject to that kind of a thought, or that kind of a negative feeling, might as well stay safe, do your part, and it's nothing great.
Exactly,
It's
exactly.
it's
don't
it's
don't wait don't wait for it to happen.
Yeah.
It's happening, and it's happening very, very, very fast. You never know what's gonna happen. It's very uncertain. Even WHO's minister said we haven't even reached the peak yet, and we can only imagine how much worse it can get. We can prevent it. Why aren't we preventing it when we can? Why are we waiting for something to happen?
Exactly.
That's the only uh, reason, or the only thing you should be thinking about. Like, how can I save my family? How can I save my friends and people around me? How can I save myself?
Yeah.
Just stay at home, sanitize, wear a mask, and
Wear a
only
mask.
go out if
So
it's very,
simple, yeah.
very necessary.
Yeah.
Like, you have no other choice but to go out, then go out. Don't roam around, don't chill. you know to think about this. Okay, do you want to chill now for a while, or chill for the rest of your life?
Exactly. Like,
you know
look, the government doesn't mean by lockdown, they don't mean stay at home and don't move out from your room. You can go to your balcony, you can go to your portico, you can go to your terrace, all said and done that it's safe and that you're, taking the necessary precautions and all and whatnot. It's just don't go out. Like, obviously, all of your friends, everyone's like, well, we aren't living in the stone age where we have to write letters to each other. We have technology in such a at such an amplitude that we can literally connect at a second if we want to. So why waste time? Why risk lives? Why put people at your homes, put your own
Harm's
self?
way.
Yeah, why? It doesn't make any sense. So
exactly. Yeah, let's
wind
head
up.
to the conclusion.
Yep.
And I just want to mention one thing just before we leave.
Hmm.
Actually, two things.
Two things. Yeah.
Two lines, or two quotes that changed my life. Like, just turned it around.
Yeah.
One was, I recently watched Tare Zameen Par again.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful movie, and there's one part where Ishan, the dyslexic kid, had to translate a Hindi poem.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he couldn't interpret it. He has a problem understanding it, reading and writing. So
Yeah.
the thing he mentions, or the way he interprets it, he says, I'll translate. I'm sorry if my Hindi is wrong, but he says, जो दिखता है वो है, जो नहीं दिखता है वो नहीं है, जो दिखता है कभी नहीं होता, जो नहीं दिखता है वो कभी होता. So basically, some things that you see exist, some things that you don't see do not exist. But some things do exist even if you can't see them. Some things
Exactly.
don't exist even if you can see them. Examples of that: you can look at a person, but you cannot understand
What
What
they're
they're
that
going
thinking.
through.
person's going through something. If
Yeah.
they're happy, if they're sad,
Sad.
if they're
Exactly.
uncomfortable, or they're excited about something. You can never
Be too
read their
certain.
minds
Be
or
too
read their
certain.
emotions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the same time, air around us, we can't see air,
But
but
it's
we
still
feel it,
there.
right?
Yeah, it's still there.
So
Very
that's
much
the
there.
whole point of that. That one thing, it kind of changed the way I see things. There was another thing, and this happened in real life, where in college there was a cultural fest going on, and we volunteers had to help make banners and artwork and stuff. No, knowing me, I'm not I'm not a good painter, or I can't do artistic work and stuff. But that was like my way of seeing it, and I was like, hey, I can't help. I cannot help. I can't even draw a line properly. And one of my English teachers heard me say that, and she said this line, and it's beautiful. I still you know abide by that. It's like my motto now. Okay, she said, you can't even draw a line, like you can't even draw a straight line properly. That is the very reason why you're an artist. Okay, I'll repeat it once more. The reason why you cannot draw a straight line, don't see it as a an inhibition, or something that you're bad at. The reason why you cannot draw a straight line is
Is that what
because
makes
you
you
are an
good?
artist.
Exactly.
That's what makes you an artist.
Hmm.
And that was beautiful. Okay, it changed the way you look at things. Like, a lot of times you don't believe in things, you don't believe, okay, I'm not a good singer, I'm not a good artist, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, but you haven't even tried yet. Fine, agree, if you've tried your best, and for 100% sure that you cannot do it, you cannot do it, but why don't you try? That was her, that was why she said that. And it might be a simple sentence, but it touched me, okay, it touched my heart. I don't want to sound cringy and all, but it was beautiful. Okay, the whole idea, or the way I turned my life around, is I need to try things. Okay, even if I think I cannot do it, if I haven't tried, I wouldn't know. Let it be any field, maybe your field of art, field of work, field of literally anything. If you don't try, you you don't know if you're good at it or no. If you don't try, you
Exactly.
never know. You might be really really good at it, and maybe you just didn't try.
And just because you didn't try, you never know. You'll never find out.
Or you tried and then the first time you fail, but even if you overcome that, you might become the best at it in a way.
Exactly. That was another reason why I wanted to mention, why I wanted you all to share that story.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you fail. Everybody fails. Nobody is perfect. You know, the whole reason, or the whole idea behind failure, is to learn from the mistakes. You get better at it. You don't just wake up one day and you're perfect. Everything. Right. You don't just wake up with all the knowledge in the world, all the talents and
Yeah.
skills. You
Yeah.
learn it. You fail
Nothing
once, you
comes
fail twice.
nothing comes out of the
Multiple times.
box. Everything needs
Exactly.
organization and development.
Exactly. So yeah, those are a few
Of
thoughts or things that we wanted to talk about in this episode. Again, we apologize for not uploading last week. I
Yes.
hope this makes up for it. But yeah, we'll try to be more consistent. It's just that we had work, and we will not take it as a, we'll not
Excuse.
take it as a excuse. We will continue doing it, we promise. And another funny story is, this is like a take two.
This is like a take
We
two,
recorded
exactly.
we recorded 2 hours worth of content. Okay, literally 2 hours. We just ranted out about all various different topics, which we didn't speak about today. We might do another episode.
Yeah, we decided to just split them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the emotions we spoke about,
That was real,
the
man.
power in what we spoke about, it wouldn't, we can't give justice to that in this episode.
Yep.
We deeply regret it, and we thought we'll give up on it too, but we did. So yeah.
Yo, so that itself shows failure shouldn't
Yeah.
be an obstruction. It should be a stepping stone.
Exactly. Oh yeah. I know it's very frustrating and stuff,
Oof,
but it
oof.
gets better.
Yeah.
You'll always find a way.
Like
So,
all it takes is just that one thing to say, all right, fine, just screw it, let's just do it. And then once you do it again,
yeah.
it's not that bad.
Yes, you just gotta send it, bro.
Yeah, you just gotta
Just send it, macha.
And then, well,
Right,
that's
conclude now.
yeah. And then, well, that's three Bangaloreans on our random thoughts about life and our random lingo that some of your people out there kind of appreciate and like. So, anyways, this has been a real journey today. I feel, as Maz said, and as little as Kiran said, we could have done a better work or better. I mean, we could have done a better job at today's episode. We did, but then we tried our best to
Did what
bring.
we could.
We tried to bring all of that enthusiasm as best as we could to this episode, and I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, and if y'all are watching us on YouTube, just smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're on YouTube, you can check us out on all the other audio platforms out there: iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You know the rest.
See, we make content for y'all, okay? So it would help us greatly if you tell us what you want to listen, like
Yeah.
the topics you guys want us to discuss
Give
about.
suggestions in the comments or DM us on Instagram.
Because at the end of the day, we're making content for y'all.
Exactly.
We're making, we're doing this so you get to hear what you guys want to hear. Do DM us. We always put our Instagram IDs on the description of our YouTube videos.
Yeah.
We also have our mail. Wherever you're comfortable, your valuable feedback helps us a lot. the first episode we were recording with some random app, and the audio quality wasn't quality.
On point.
The
Audio quality wasn't on point.
Yeah, it was bad, and
Yeah.
somebody suggested use Zoom, and it works beautifully now.
Exactly.
So let's say we improve episode after episode. So yeah, Brent, why don't you
let's
end
let's
this?
do the usual. So y'all can catch us every Wednesdays, hopefully. If we don't, we'll be back on the next. It's been a pleasure if all of y'all have made it to the conclusion. And as Maz said, if y'all don't have Instagram, you don't have a mail, it's fine. YouTube's free. It has a beautiful platform for y'all to express your thoughts and emotions towards our episodes. And trust me, we wouldn't get back at you or openly insult you, even privately insult you for that matter. We would take your advice and work on it and grow as a team, grow as people. So this has been one hell of a ride, and this is What the Cast, and we will catch you on the next one. What the Cast signing out. 3, 2, 1. What the Cast?
What the gosh?
What the Cast, yeah.
Stop recording now.